Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to the state of the canyon. It's Friday, the 16th of December. I'm covered in sawdust. What happens around the holiday times is the mess takes over and it never stops. Like the sawdust should be, the sawdust buildup is getting substantial because if I had an imaginary resume, at the top of that resume, it would say, Pinterest facilitator. That's my thing. My wife will send me a picture like this one and say, hey, can you make that? And I will grab some scrap and I will say, yeah, I could probably make that. $0. Digging the crafts bins from the fairy houses. We made a bunch of cardboard fairy houses out of concrete forms. Wrap them in, you peel cardboard so that it looks like bark. And then, so we had a bunch of like fairy windows and doors. I send her this picture. I say, something like this. She says, yeah, now make 50. So I'm in the midst of making 50 of these. And I start with 2x4s and 2x6s. And then you got to square everything off. You got to rip all the edges off. And if you know anything about the dimensional lumber that you're going to get from someplace like Lowe's or Home Depot, you can't rip it while it's 8 feet long because it's going to go like that because they're not even remotely straight when they come out of the mill. So you got to cut your 12 inches, your 8 inches, and your 8 3/4 inch pieces. And then you have to rip all the sides. Then you have to make a jig to cut the roofs. Then you got to cut all the... Anyway, it's Christmas by 1,000 cuts, and I will get to make at least 50 of those. I don't have to do any of the finish work, any of the painting, or anything. Hey, there's an upside to everything. Speaking of painting, we'll give a small spoiler for. I don't think the episode that is finished and ready to go. I don't think it goes up. Does it go up tomorrow? No, I think it goes up Sunday. So in 2 days, you'll get to see how we got to. I'm gonna give you like 2 seconds. You're gonna see how we got here. That's all you get. That is all you get. Tomorrow is a servo test. That one's already done. That one's already up. I'll leave that one a surprise. So as said, okay, so I have to make 50 plus of these. So that's 50, 50, 50. 100, 100, 100. And so, okay, let's say you're just looking at this piece. You got to cut it off. That's one cut. Rip one side, rip the other side. That's 3. Cut that bevel, cut that bevel. That's 5. Every piece of this, 5 cuts. Times 3, times 50. Woo! It's a lot. I love it. I love it. You get a real feeling of accomplishment when it's done and you don't have to cut anymore. And then, of course, they all have to be glued together. Luckily, the humidity is pretty low right now, so tight bond just dries. So while I'm in a defender state of mind, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm using the state of the canyon as an excuse to stop cutting wood. I was getting wood claw, like your hand is in this position, pushing pieces through the table saw over and over and over again. So as an attempt to soften up the hand claw, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to drive around a little bit. And as I'm in a defender state of mind, I thought, well, we'll take old Ironsides out there because it occurred to me. In that very first servo test that I did, I tested that associated. I thought that associated servo...
I'm sorry.
You should be sorry. First servo test that I did a test that I thought that associate. She got like half of it. I wasn't talking to you. I thought it was this servo. And understandably so. This is the XP DS 1015. Again, if memory serves, I think the other one is the 1510. This servo, I do have a radio, is a little bit... It's a little bit more brisk than the other one. Oh, I think he's just, oh, we got, oh. There's definitely some, oh, I see it now. Okay. And that is how you change plans. I didn't pay attention. I remembered having... Ugh, what a smell. I remembered having these Steelies, and they're pretty narrow offset. So I thought they will help tuck the tires under the body a little bit, and they indeed do. The fitment looks really good. You got the body on there? Like that looks scale. That looks great. I love the 4.3 ripsaws. They're perfect on this rig. Here's what I didn't take into account. This guy's got those big portal weights. And I think you can just kind of see. It was going clunk, clunk, clunk. The screws on the back of the wheel are rubbing on the face of the portal weight all the way around. So I either need to go to the... I do have low profile reduced head 3mm. I will probably just change to those because that's super easy to do. I get my double wrench combo going. I have this one in one hand and this one in the other. I pull one out, put a short one in. Pull one out, put a short one in. So I'm going to have to replace all the screws in those bead locks to make this drivable. I should write that on the whiteboard. I might actually write that on the whiteboard. So out of frame over here, I'm writing iron sides, inner bead lock screws, because he is undrivable. Oh, like it still says Jolly Green Locker Servos up there. That's how often I keep the whiteboard updated. So pretending that we didn't pretending that we didn't not get iron sides to work. As I'm in a Defender state of mind, we're just going to get a Defender and we're going to drive that around to take my mind off the fact that I would like to say that I'm 10% of the way done with those, with these, but I'm not. I have a goal. I have a target. I have a target for the day. And that target is get the angles cut, because I went as lazy as I could, as is my wont and my way. The roof angles, this roof angle and this roof angle, 45 degrees. That's how we do. That way, if you have two pieces and they butt together like that, 245s make a 90. Bish bosh, Bob's your uncle. Now, I tried just doing 45s all the way across. It doesn't look right. So this guy has got to be the steep one. And he's like 60-some degrees. Chop saws don't go to 60-some degrees. So I have to find out what this angle is. And then I got to cut a block. And then you usually set, like I'll set the fence at 30 degrees. And I'll have like a 30-degree block. And then I can dupe them out, because I got to make that cut 2 per. I got to make that cut like 110 times. So we have to make some sort of an effort to, streamline. Ooh, how's the battery in the old MT4? 7.7. This thing is still running. It should be. Let me see. Yeah. Reedy Power 2500. That battery is, I don't know, over a decade old. I was like, where's the boop, boop, boop? And it's just clear evidence that things used to be made differently, let's just say. Venerable Sanwa MT4, what a fantastic radio. And I would be using this thing, like, how great would that be for dig? Or this for dig? Look how quick the response. But alas, the RX 461 receiver, if you can get them, I can buy 2 of these for one of those receivers. So he gets the good fortune of a very good radio. What is this servo? SA75. Good old SA75. Gay Rover, my official, unofficial obstacle testing assistant, hasn't been out in a minute. We don't even need to wait for the wheels to pick him. I choose Pikachu, I choose you. He's still dirty. He's still got Deep Woods dirty from last time he was out there. Let us go and do this thing because, you know, honestly, I gotta get back to work. I don't want to get back to work, but I gotta get back to work. So let's, you know what? Let's dive straight in and endure the punishment that is the gimbal. How do we state that we both recognize and acknowledge that there's 50 of those little holiday decorations. Here's a half disassembled table saw. Where'd you go? There you are. There you are. See if we can make the transition over to the ramp. Yeah, no problem. In order to mitigate the sawdust explosion, we bring the chops outside. That's laziness accelerated. So I don't have time to edit this. I don't technically have time to record this, but I can't cut wood nonstop. I've only been at it like 5 hours, so this seemed the perfect time to take a break. Ooh, that's a ball. I don't know where that ball came from. That's a batting cage ball that just showed up in the yard. I think the neighbors are playing catch with a batting cage ball, that's ill-advised. And that comes from a person that knows what ill-advised is. Like, those things are hard. Let's just head straight over to Daphne's third and take a shot at it. I'm not even gonna go back and grab the bucket chair. I mean, I might. Let's get this set up. There we go. Hey, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. I wish you could have seen what the screen looked like when the Mimo app crashed. It kind of went to like this side of the screen was like a magenta, and this side of the screen was green, and it split it in half, so I could see what's out here doubled, so it was on both sides, and then the screen went yo, 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 like 5 times, and then it stopped recording. It's fun. It's fun. King of low speed. I really want to get a, come on, Deep Woods. I realize we're belly dragging a little bit there. All right, try it this way. Can you stay up and over? Fusion SE. Now that they've re-released, when I noticed that the online sites didn't have the Fusion 1200 and 1800 anymore, I was like, no. Because before I got my Pro, the 1200 and 800 are like my favorite power plants. The wiring is so simple. Most rigs don't have an issue with their excess can length. The Pro does feel nicer than these, and it only stings a little bit that the Pro is effectively the same price. And now the SEs, though, I think the 1800 kV is $79.99. That is, I mean, think about it. You take a 1080 and a reasonably okay brushed motor, you could be looking at $80. The 1200 kV is $69.99. Pricing things, this is an interesting approach from Hobbywing. Pricing things relative to their KVs, that's weird, right? It's like the opposite of shoes, you know. Shoes are ultimately democratic because a person who wears a size 5 and a person who wears a size 14, it'll just pass by like a spaceship. They pay the same amount for shoes. So, I mean, you know, as a guy who wears a size 14 shoes, sucks to be the person who wears a 5. You're getting a lot less shoe for the same money. But it, you know, the universe evens and averages it out by the fact that I can't buy gloves. And as I've said, I have very cold hands. Like my hands are very cold even right now, sitting out in the sun. I never get a situation where I'm like, oh, my hands are too hot. I have ice cold hands and ice cold feet. Pretty much all the time. I'm in Cabela's wool socks right now, and it's 60 degrees. My feet are still ice cold. So during all that time of cycling, my hands would be, I would get frozen hands to where I couldn't actually feel the tips of my fingers. And the same thing would happen to my feet many times. It would be, I would be getting out of the shower after the ride before I would get any sensation back in my feet. So everyone would say, oh, well, if you have cold hands, you just have to layer, right? You wear like a glove liner, and then you put a glove or a mitten over it. And I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. Find me a glove liner that will fit my hand, and then find me a glove that will fit over that glove liner. Because, you know, with no scale, like, my hands are 9.5 inches long, and I know they do the, you know, they'll have that thing on Amazon where it's like, here's your hand. Now measure around this part of your hand, and that's how big. Well, that's 4.5 inches across. So this span right here, that amount around, I think I've bought gloves one time where my hand, where the number that I got from measuring my hand was actually on their little chart. And I was like, oh. So I have a couple pairs of gloves that fit. And then courtesy of my grandmother, I can only presume. If I've pointed this out before, I do apologize. So that's a pinky, right? That's a pinky, and that's an index finger, and that's rock on. Now, most people's thumb is that long, but that's my thumb, and my thumb is that long. So when I'm like, look at that L. So gloves don't fit, nothing fits. For my whole life, I thought I had skinny wrists. And then when I have to order like a band for this, I have to get the biggest band that they make, because it turns out, I don't have skinny wrists. I have, oh, hello, bee. I don't have skinny wrists. I have monster hands. I do love that low speed control. I do love a deep woods. Like, the Gay Rover's got a lot going for it. I love Defenders. Uh-oh. he kind of went plunk. He kind of The associated stealth that's in there, and this is in a fox belly mount, the LCG mount. Man, if Associated made a stealth V2 with dig on it, where's that Where's that Philip J. Fry? Shut up and take my money. Because they do it, I think, smart. They put 2 plastic gears in there. The main gears, the ring gear, front and rear, because there's 2 for that built-in underdrive, are plastic. So it just quiets the gearbox down. And then with that 1800, I think there might be a 12-tooth 48 pitch pinion in there. So nice. And you know what else is so nice? Sitting down and just wheeling for a minute, because it means I'm not cutting more 2x4s right now. When I watch the Gate Rover tip into a descent, I'm reminded that he has a plastic. Did I perfect? Look at that. Parked. He has a plastic diff cover in the front and a brass one in the back, because numbers that the scale presents be damned, he worked better. Like, I put it on the front and tried it, and I was like, eh. And then I looked at the numbers, and then I put it on the back. So he's something like 52.48, something like that. It's got like 4% more front weight. And it was originally, it moved like 1%, because anything with a Traxxas Defender body is not light. I should get that thing off of there. So in spite of what the papers say and what the scales say should be, he's just more predictable and more maneuverable like this. And it's not as if, this was a parts bin build that I don't know was documented as a parts bin build. I think it was it? It had to have been. It had to have been. It's not like he's chock full of cheap cast-off parts, really. He's a gatekeeper at heart. 4-linked. No trailing arms. Not really any gatekeeper left. Brought to you by the fact that... What is that? Big old jet. Brought to you by the fact that when I got into these element-based projects and built like 3 or 4 in a row, the builder's kit, too, was like never available. So I just kept buying gatekeepers. That was back when they had those gatekeepers for like $219. And Gate Rover might have been one of those that was built at the time where manufacturer does not allow coupons, is a frequent phrase. And it's on almost every element thing, but it wasn't on the gatekeeper kits. So I got to use a coupon and cash and everything, and it came out to like $170, like total, like tax and everything out the door for that gatekeeper kit. And then I sold the whole cage and everything, and sold a bunch of parts off of it, and the Gate Rover ended up coming out because the rest of him was already there. I had already built this body for Jolly Green, and then, I mean, look where Jolly Green is now. So this is one of the more economical builds that really followed my other grandmother, not the large-handed grandmother, but the grandmother who famously said, "Look how much money I saved by buying this thing." So when I look at Gate Rover, I say, look at how much money I saved by building this thing. He's still... He's still a Defender. So he can do Defender things. And honestly, it's so nice out. This is the nicest it's been in some good while. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a mental note of the fact that we need to what I need to do is, I've got a big old pile of gravel over there. I need to mix gravel up with some Portland and go around, and basically, like how it looks like we're all climbing onto mesas. I need to like make footers that go around and just pour like a seam that goes along the edge, because you shouldn't have to work this hard to breach up onto an obstacle. The obstacle should be tough. Getting onto the obstacle shouldn't be that tough. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna drive this back, because otherwise I could stay out here all day, and it is, you know, it might be Southern California and it might not know it, but it is the dead of winter, and it's gonna be dark in 2.5 hours. The sun is already most of the way through the sky, as you can see by the shadows here. Camera's roughly facing north. I don't have that much more time to be cutting. Yeah, I got lights, but as soon as that sun goes down, like my back feels so warm right now, my hands have almost thawed out. As soon as that sun dips down, it's bone chill. It's Southern California freezing. It's bone chilling. So rather than drive this guy all day, which I honestly could, I could just sit out here on my bucket chair and just run this pack out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run up to the front door, because I just got a notification that says there's motion at your front door. And if it's the Amazon package, I'm gonna open that Amazon package and I'll get the wrap up atop that package. Because if it's the package that I'm hoping it is, it's relevant to all of our interests. So we return to indoors, where it's colder. It is genuinely colder in here than it is out there, but you know, I got Pinterest facilitating to do, and I'm really trying to live by my own code of don't leave the batteries in the rigs, because then I'm like, where's that battery? I had a charged battery. I swear I did. Yeah, you did, and then you left it in the Vanimal, and it sat there. I mean, not plugged into the battery, mind you, or anything, but still just sitting there for like a week. So the relevant wrap that I alluded to before, I did indeed. I stopped myself from buying another radio because I saw there's another R6, is that R6? R6F receiver up there. So I can do another rig and not buy a radio. I'm kind of okay once one goes on sale or something, but I'd rather spend the $60, and this is going straight into Jake, and he's getting rid of that super noisy thing that's in there. And with that out of the fleet, I will not be disappointed. The other thing is, I impulse bought again. I had a cart. I'm going to open the top of this. I had a cart built up on like AliExpress or one of those, you know, where you're going to wait 2 months for shipping. And it was basically to build this thing, the skid very forward LCG. And then Amazon popped in and was like, oh, is that an item relevant to your interests? It is from I thought it was Muse, but it's apparently me us, because where's that part that I took off? Explore and create more fun for RC. Not me, but us. Me us. So it's the whole thing. Spacers. I think that's I don't know what that is. It's got the whole links, and then because it's the super forward gearbox, it's got the crazy links. I like the big high clearances for the back. It's got the side chassis sides, all the hardware, body mounts, battery strap, the two different widths. You can do it 70 millimeter width or 78 millimeter width, depending on which chassis which chassis center you're using. And I have that unused, the one from the Phoenix, because we VFD'd around anyway. This was $53. $53. So it does seem like a bit of a bargain compared to and I thought that the 60 some for the one that's in yellow, I was like, dang, that's a pretty good dang dong deal. And then ooh, look at that sticker. Ooh. He's like mirror. Oh, there we are. He's like mirror. Then, so impulse bought and then thought about it in hindsight and was like, oh yeah, this will be great. And then if we start at the top, I'm looking over there. Okay, so Zoidberg LCG, Blue Sky High LCG, Argentum the Phoenix, not going to mess with it. Jake is LCG. Eddie is built in such a way that like he's built to that chassis. The Ground Fox Origin is already LCG. Yella is LCG. Offhand, I don't have a rig to build this to. Now, all I really need are axles, I think. So I guess I'm going to have to source some axles, and I want to make a proper, this will probably be another half cab guy, a proper cheater. Oh, and, you know, while we're at it, sitting over here in this little box, unopened, that has been here for 2 months. This is an LCG kit specifically for TRX4. So this would like turn a Sport into an LCG. It's got some crazy looking little pieces in it. And then I thought, I don't like, the only rig that would be suitable for that to go into would be Daphne. But Daphne's so good that I'm like, I can't. She also has special pieces to like mount her body. So I don't want to mess it up. So now what do I have? I have 2 LCGs. And I'll have to dig through the parts bins and see how close I am to finishing a set of element axles. I don't want to just go Amazon axles, though. Some Amazon axles, Amazon gearbox. Just I know it's been it's almost a trope at this point in crawling of build yourself an all Amazon crawler. I've definitely got wheels and tires. But this, I need axles and a gearbox, really. I've got a servo. I've got multiple servos. I think there are 3 homeless 1080s now and a number of motors. I think I've got a 45, a 55, a 27. I've got a handful. So we're maybe January. Is this January? Am I gonna save up and get some axles? I'll check Jenny's. Could do TRX4 axles. If the SSD parts weren't so expensive, I would love to try TRX4 straight axles, which just to have them. It might be element axles. We will see what I'm short of on gears. Buying a full kit seems excessive at this point, but I'm rambling because I know that is lurking over in the background waiting for me to get back to work. So I'm going to have to do that. Thank you for joining me on this festive Friday. We're definitely in it. We're getting close. The 16th, we're only 8 days till Christmas. And if you haven't already, and as much as a part of me says, don't recommend channels of people that are better, far better filmmakers. But if you've never watched a video by the fantastic storyteller Beau Miles from Australia, Beau Miles is not a frequent uploader. You might see a video every couple months, but he is doing the 12 days of newness this year for Christmas, where every day he does something that he's never done before. And the first 2 are already up, and they're fantastic. They're fantastic. It absolutely makes my day to watch those videos. And it also infuriates me that he can tell such a compelling story in like 9 minutes. I can't. I gotta be me. So in the meantime, between now and then, between here and now, and wherever we meet again in the future. You got to be you. Servo test tomorrow. Next installment of the blackjack build Sunday. I don't know what comes after that. We'll find out. We'll find out together. It's a journey. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope the weather allows you to go outside and do some crawling. I'm going to be making these. It's going to take the whole weekend for sure. It was 5 hours to get that roughed out block of stuff over there, and then I got to make my jigs to cut all my angles, and then I got to cut. I should be doing that and not talking about it. So thanks again, everybody. Comment below. Tune in for the next one. Have a good one, and we will see you when we see you.